Oh, okay, that's so cool. I was meant to warn you. I'm sorry. So, huh? Oh, we are? Oh. Okay, so we'll get started. I just want to start off our event today in a good way. So I'm gonna ask that our drum group come up and do a few songs first, and then we'll have our elder Terry say a little prayer for us.
Terry came and rescued us last time. Good morning. I'm Chris Machado. I am the Women's Initiatives Coordinator, and I've asked Kim here to sing with me.
And good morning, bonjour, Ani. Kim Indushinakaz, Ajijakni Dodem, Bakwan Kong, Undojiba. And I'm very pleased and honored to sing with Carissa today. And we're both shy.
Yeah, we don't sing in front of people often.
Well,
So
by yourselves.
we're going to sing the Strong Women song.
Because we're all strong women and we need that strength together.
Okay.
Song that we'd like to do is Wildflower. Wildflower has a history I'm not as skilled at describing that story, but it is a song that we sing to call and warn our fellow humans. And this is an appropriate song, I believe, for women who need to reach out and need to call for help.
Way.
Got a blank.
But yeah. Help me.
We're both blanking out. Terry. Wildflower. I've lost it. Um, thank you, Terry. Miigwech.
I'll try my best to sing a song that my dad left us. It's it's about it's a woman song, and it's a sweat lodge song. And my dad left a lot of teachings during his lifetime, and I used to wake up each morning to this drum, and before I went to bed, same thing. I listened to a lot of songs that my dad left me. I have a cold, not a cold, but I have a cough. So, but I'll try my best, and I have my ego fed. Hey ya, 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 wabanong abetikwe benenonda wa, wabanong abetikwe nenonda wa, menotago setikwe nenonda wa, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya.
I think we got it.
Okay, you got it? Okay,
Okay.
I'll stand with you.
We got it now. Way
Good morning, Bozo. Shona kamigo nesnikas atik do them kinak dejon bejago mite. I'll say the opening prayer for this special event that celebrates the campaign against violence against women. I each morning when I get up in the mornings, I think about the women that have died at the at the hands of pedophiles, perpetrators, murderers, and the women that are lost, the many women that died in Vancouver, in Winnipeg, the women that can't be found at the landfill. I often think about the men too. Alec Lawson, where is he? I often look when I'm driving on the road. I often look on the side and look at the tree outlines. When I cross the bridge towards the reserve, I pray that if I pray to the spirits that keep the four directions. I pray to them that if they have those people, the women that are missing, and the ones that are the men that are missing, I ask the spirits if they have them to let them go. They're not theirs to keep. And that's my prayers, and I think about the women today that are in situations they can't circumstances, home situations where there's family violence. Some women feel there's no help, they feel no hope, and a lot of them leave home thinking there's greener pastures out there, but they find themselves in situations that are not healthy. So I pray for those women each day. I pray for families. I pray for children, grandchildren, our elders, and our youth. I pray for them each day. So I'm going to start my prayer for this event in a good way, that we start in a good way. Miigwech manito. Kinanak me go nungam gagsebayag. Ewa bande siyang minuats wasaya. En am damang oe musak ninuent. Minop matson minoyawan. Ego ge kin kinagego ne minagoin tot the moshang. Egani nuen gego nek tot the mang. En onde sang ni nan gegon je tot the mat sang. Mitas kin kinagego nekas kstuen making. Kab mat sang. Ek te magen mishang. Oe nongom gagiskak. We thank you, Creator, for being with us today. And we thank you for showing us your love and compassion. And forgive us that tiny sliver of hope each day that we keep on living, and we keep on doing the things that we need to do. You give us that strength each day. And you give us that ability to be strong when we are weak, to have faith when we lose hope. And you give us that ability to listen with open hearts and open minds. We thank you, Creator, and we ask that we be mindful. We be mindful of others who are hurting, and to forgive each other. We are taught to be compassionate to each other, to show kindness to each other. Yeah. Miigwech nan manitono ngam gawam de shang me nagi shivat zone. Yeah, miigwech kiten. Miigwech.
Okay, so Terry did say that she will be lighting a smudge if anybody would like to smudge this morning. Just come over here and see to our elder Terry. Um, so our Deputy Grand Chief Anna Betty is on her way. She is not here yet, but she did give me the okay to proceed with the event today. So I just want to say miigwech to the drum group for the songs this morning, and as well to our elder, miigwech for the prayer and starting us off in a good way. I'm going to start off by welcoming everybody today to our awareness social. As you may know, tomorrow is the International Day of Elimination against Violence against Women. So we're holding the social awareness today just to give you guys some information that you can take back to your communities or home, share with friends, family. Yeah, so if you can do that just to spread awareness, that'll be great. So my name, I'll start off, is Jamie Lee Wanakamek. I am the Women's Initiatives Policy Analyst here at NAN. Our director, Loretta Shishikwin, could not be here today. She is at a hockey tournament in the Sioux. So I'll be your MC and your host for the 2 hours that we are here. My coworker, Carissa, who is standing right there, if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to see her as well. Sorry, didn't mean to put you on the spot. Yeah, so I also want to do a few housekeeping items. There are beverages and snacks at the back of the room. If you are feeling a little bit parched or need something to drink, please help yourself. We also have a draw at the front door. If you can enter your name in, we have a $50 gift card just for coming out and, just being here with us today. The shirts are for you as well. They look like this. Please help yourself. A lot of information from our speakers are up there as well. And the bathrooms are just across from the elevator. So you just go down this hall to the left and then take a right if you need to know where those are. And yeah, so we are also live streamed on our YouTube channel. So yay. Hi, everybody online. Next on our agenda, Anna Betty is supposed to say a few opening remarks, but we'll give her time to come in and we'll just go on with the show. With our next guest speaker, who is, I'm sorry if I don't want to butcher your name, but I know it's Alana Odawa Lindstone. Yes, is that correct? She's from Nishnawbe ASCII Legal Services, and she's going to share some information today with us. You're welcome to come up.
Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody had a nice, restful evening, and I'm very honored to be. Okay. So my name's Alana Odawa Lindstone. I am from Lake Helen, or Red Rock Indian Band. I was born and raised there, and then I've been living here in the city now, probably going on 7, 8 years now. I am a mother, I'm a wife, I am an auntie, and also a grandmother of 6 beautiful grandchildren. So I've been blessed with some very amazing grandchildren, and I'm just super honored to be a part of their life. So my role is with Nishnawbe ASCII Legal Services. I work for Restore Justice, and my role is working with individuals who have caused harm to their partners. So I work with all genders. And this is an opportunity for this program. We usually get our referrals from the Crown's office, but some we get from lawyers and other sometimes self-referrals. But for the most part, my ultimate goal for this program is breaking cycles. I want to break cycles of violence within families. So I take a different perspective when I work with individuals. We work on utilizing more strength-based and also using methods that are, working with the individuals to take accountability for their actions. But we also offer a component for the families to have healing circles as well too, because that is like extremely important. Because if we don't address some of the things why they come into our programs, we need to look at like how can we help these individuals so that they're not repeating these cycles and causing harm to their families and to their loved ones, and also breaking that generation and intergenerational traumas. So we look at like when they first come to the program, they kind of have we utilize talking to them about some of the why did they get here? How did they get here? What are some of the things, the historical traumas that have happened in a lot of our Indigenous families and within our histories? So we take that approach too to help them understand how did they get to where they are today. And then we look at focusing on some of those key topics like about, the equality and breaking violence and how to communicate in a nonviolent way and how to repair and move forward in a lot of these different things that may come up in their relationships. So it's like healthy conflict resolution. Our program is ministry approved, so the ministry has approved our program as an alternative to kind of like a PAR program. We also we offer that support to the victim as well too, because they need that support as well as the individuals coming. So we provide service to all genders, not just one gender. We want to explore creative and significant ways to repair and to grow from the wrongdoing in a meaningful way. So when we work with the individuals, we offer that non-judgmental approach, but we also encourage that healing and also using strength-based approaches with our clients. So right now, I'm actually the only worker right now in this program, but we also have I have other individuals that are supporting for right now because we do have an influx of referrals. But we also I have a great restorative justice teammates that we all work together and support each other and help each other. Another thing that our program also has that we offer to the youth is we have this hub program, which is through Springboard, and it actually has gender-based violence programming for individuals that are youth. But that's sometimes those programs as well that can work with individuals who are adults as well too, because the content is pretty much it's geared for all ages, but mainly focused for youth. So our program, the Indigenous Intimate Partner Violence Prevention Program that we offer, they learn about breaking cycles, intergenerational traumas, being a positive role model for their family and for the next generation. So that piece that we offer is that I provide them with the information. They get to take a look at what that information is. How can they apply it to their life? They get to choose what they're ready to work on, because it has to come from within. They have to be ready for whatever those changes need to be. So we offer that information. I kind of approach it as like you're the gardener. You're the one that's going to build your garden. In order for that garden to grow, you need to provide sunlight. You need to provide water. You need to provide kindness and love and gentleness to allow that change to happen. So when we start looking at some of those things, then they can start looking at like what can they do for themselves? What can those changes be? Because and there's no, we work with them at their pace. We don't set no rules as far as like, if you've missed 3 appointments, that's it, you're out. If they kind of fall off the path for a little while, we welcome them back and we'd be like, okay, let's continue on. What can we do to help you? What can we do to support you and to encourage you to continue working on some of those healing components that you need to work on? Another part of my program that I also offer is the sexual assault piece, or sexual harm. So that component is, we offer healing circles for families. So one of the things I'm really super proud of is that we offer that an opportunity and a space for families to come together and to repair and rebuild those relationships. We just had a family that had some historical sexual harm that has been happened back in like years ago, and they reached out to our agency to see how we can help them because they want to be a family again, but they needed some guidance and some help. So that's what we provided for them. We provided a space, and we did a lot of the cultural components with opening with the smudge and having the elder do a pipe ceremony. And we had it was a long circle. It's very intense and there's a lot of raw emotions during those times, but that's what needed. And it gave them a foundation for that family to move forward. And they're actually meeting now and actually planning some future family Christmas get-togethers as a family again. So those kind of things, I think we need to start looking at what can we do to help families heal and taking those different approaches, because that's where change is going to happen. And that's what our agency is focused on, is like helping breaking those cycles and seeing what we can do, even though they come to us from sometimes the court system, but we need to help these families. So another component that we're working on is because we need that prevention piece. Myself and another coworker, we're going to be trained as facilitators in the preventive program. So it's an educational train the trainer. So we're going to be offering training to individuals in the communities that we serve, to frontline workers, to parents, just having that healthy conversation, how to talk to your children and how to recognize some of those key components that we need to recognize in trying to help break that cycle of sexual harm. So there's a lot more that our program kind of offers, but I have only a short amount of time up here. I'm not exactly sure how much more time. I think we're good. Okay. I can keep talking, but I will. I just want to say thank you for everybody for having me. Thank you for the elder for the opening and the ladies and their beautiful singing. So thank you, Miigwech. I have cards here and I have some pamphlets, not a whole lot because I need to restock. But I do have some cards, so you can just reach out to me at any time. I'll put them up there. So Miigwech. Are taking questions or anything? Yeah. Does anybody have any questions or? No? Okay. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Alana. So Anna Betty has arrived. So I'm going to call her up to say a few words.
Watche miswe. Memengo sat so kan squendish nikasan. Migasi notam. Amagadaski nan donji. I shared with you my spirit name and also my clan. And about 20 years ago, I wasn't able to do that because, it wasn't acceptable in the meetings and in the gatherings that we had. which is a form of violence, right? When you're being suppressed and discriminated against, and so we're, now we're at that time when we acknowledge and share our spirit name in our clan, that it's appreciated and that it's acknowledged. So that is a form of change for we as Anishinaabe people. First of all, I want to acknowledge Shamanito, God, for this day. It is a beautiful day, and for all that's given to us, and Chmingwech Terry for opening our gathering with a prayer. And each and every one of you, thank you for being here. Also want to acknowledge Alana and Paul and Maya and Sarah for agreeing to come and share this time with us and to share the information that they have. I serve as a deputy Grand Chief for Anishinaabe Husky Nation, and I'm very honored and grateful to have that role and responsibility. It is my second time that I have been called to serve, and I'm very honored and grateful that I do have that opportunity. And as throughout the history of the existence of Treaty Grand Council, Treaty 9, and in the Anishinaabe Nation, I'm the second female that has been elected into an executive position. And I often wondered about that as to why I wouldn't see like females like running for these positions. And we've had many great men who have served the people, but we know that we also have many great women out there, like intelligent, hardworking women. And if you go into any of our First Nation administrative offices, like the majority of those working are females. The majority of those individuals who volunteer and make things move in the First Nation are women. And yet, in our political positions, elected positions, there's still a low percentage of women fulfilling and taking on these roles. So I think that we need to change that, and so very slowly, as we have these conversations, as we talk about ending discrimination and violence, we will see that change. And so today we are gathered to acknowledge the International Day of eliminating violence against women. In our society, and not only within Turtle Island, but also in other continents, other parts of the world, our women and gender diverse people and children are the targets of violence, and we represent, those stats in terms of homicides and violence being inflicted on us, and in poverty. So that's that is something that we have to work on together, and I'm very grateful that the UN has acknowledged these days and also acknowledge the conditions and what we face as women. So I just wanted to share a few message a few messages with you. You know, in terms of ending the cycle of violence of that we face, we all have a responsibility, and we also have an opportunity to change that, and to address it, and to educate. We start at a very young age. A lot of times it's quite common that when we see little children playing together, and if you see one child that is very possessive of their possession, their toy, and then a lot of times the parent, our grandparent, caregiver will say, you know what, like share. And so I think we've all said that. So one of the things that we also need to teach our children, our young ones, is to respect their boundaries, and to respect their bodies, and to start teaching them very young that that there are such things as good touch and bad touch, and that no one should be swearing at them, or you know violating their personal space. Like, we should be teaching that, and having those conversations with our children at a very young age, and that we should be responding to it when that is shared with us. And so I believe it begins there. Some years ago, I was sitting with a group of women, and they were like really like talking about their former boyfriends and their former like ex-husbands, and just really putting them down for some of their behaviors. And I sat there listening, and then I said, "You as women, like, do you have sons?" And then they said, "Yes." I said, "Well, we so when we disrespect, men in that way, when we you know bash our men and talk about them in that way, it's we're also disrespecting our sons." And so anyway, they thought about it, and they said, "Yeah, I guess that is true." you know so we have to, we like, when we're in these circles, and we see verbal violence or physical violence, we need to address it, and there is a very respectful way for us to do it. And I know that now, in our society, a lot of people are now willing to listen, and to acknowledge these things, whereas, maybe many years ago, I could have just been, thrown out by these women, and, told to leave that room. But, they were willing to listen, and they were willing to accept it. And I think that, we need to continue having these conversations. We need to continue gathering and participating in these events, and talking amongst our circles about how we can eliminate violence. Some of us, one of my roles is to deal with the police, in the court system, and it has been quite a challenge to do that, because our people are overrepresented in these correctional facilities, and and then there's a lot of domestic violence, and rightfully so. Like, there are certain individuals that are dangerous and should be locked up, but there's also a lot of individuals who have been, I guess, dealt with very badly when it comes to the system. And we also are dealing with racial profiling of First Nations people, both male and female. So when we hear about those things, or when our family members are dealing with those, like, raise your voice about it. There are people that are willing to support and help advocate on that, because it's silence. To me, silence means you're accepting the injustice. So let's not be silent anymore. So I thank you very much for being here today. And welcome to our Anishinaabe Nation office. We're going to continue to have these type of gatherings in this space, because this is part of what this space is meant for. And I also want to thank those that shared a song with us this morning, and to the Women's Initiative staff for putting this together. And again, welcome, Wajia, and thank you for being here. Miigwech. I had that all written on here.
Miigwech, Annabelle. Next, I'm going to introduce our next presenter. His name is Paul, and he is from the Thunder Bay Indian Friendship Center, and he's going to be speaking on the I Am a Kind Man program. So if you'd like to come up.
So, good morning, everyone. My name is Paul Cloutier, and I work for the Thunder Bay Indigenous Friendship Center. But a little bit about my story first. I've been involved with Kijay Asking Nim, I Am a Kind Man, for about almost 3 years now. I started out in Geraldton, and I ran that program there. Then I just moved to Thunder Bay in July, and of August I started with the center. Just a little bit about this program. Um, it's funded by the OFIFC, which is the Ontario Federation of Indigenous Friendship Centers, and this program actually started here out of Thunder Bay and out of our center. So we're really proud about that program. There is 32 centers now across Ontario, and I want to say probably about 29 of the centers offer this program. So, so if you want to continue on the next slide there. Okay, so I already introduced myself and what I do at the center. So I will briefly talk a little bit about through the slides here. So if you want to go to the next slide, please. So I talked a little bit about the purpose. So the purpose of I'm just going to use the abbreviation CAN. Like I said, it started out here in Thunder Bay, and then the main focus of our program is to eliminate domestic violence against women and children totally. So we're doing it one step at a time. Our program is really very busy. I run four programs out of the center each year. I'm in the process of one is almost complete. By December, they'll be done. I run 10 sessions. So what we do is we walk through. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk a little bit about this, and then the next slides are going to explain everything I'm talking about. So I'm sorry about that. And then, so basically my little presentation is going to be the purpose, the goals and outcome, the reflections, questions and closing prayer, and thank you. So if you want to go on to the next slide for me, please. Okay, so there's the purpose. as myself, I am fortunate to be involved with KJ Ashkelon Elimination program. It gives me the opportunity to give back to the community by helping the youth and men in need. When I say men in need, how these men come to the program is they're usually referred by me, to me by, we have actually this young lady's office probably refers men to through our program as well. They're referred through other, my coworkers. We run 40-some programs out of the TBIFC, so a lot of times they're referred there. They're also referred through the court system, and then we also have our own justice team, and they're referred through them, by them to me. So I've been fortunate to have many life experience and wonderful, fulfilling career, so as well as to continue learning. So having said all that, I've retired from a full-time career in healthcare, and at the age of 61, I thought I'm a little too young to retire. So I've been involved with this program, and so it really gives back. I'm really learning lots about what the necessity is with the program and how I can help these young men become better people and to eliminate domestic violence altogether. Not an easy task. So then I am discovering about my ancestry, my background, and the Aboriginal culture. So for me, I'm French Métis. So it helps me to understand my culture as well and to pass on what these young men need. If you continue on, please. So my eyesight's not as good as it used to be, so I'm gonna have to go a little closer here. So to reinstate the KJ program for youth and men in need in our communities, to use the resources of the OFIFC, TBIFC, and its staff. Introduction of the program to the 7 grandfather teachings and its beliefs. So this is where KJ comes into play, where we talk about the 7 grandfather teachings. So wisdom, to cherish knowledge and to know wisdom, which is the beaver. Love is to know love and to know peace, the eagle. Respect is to know all the creations and is to have respect, is the buffalo. Bravery is to face the foe with integrity, the bear. Honesty is facing a situation and is to be brave, Sasquatch. Humility is to know yourself as a sacred part of the creation, the wolf. And truth is to know all of these things, the turtle. So I briefly just discussed them for you, but what we do here is over the course of the 10 weeks, we start with the introduction to Kijé. What we do is we make them do a log or a history, and then we talk about the seven teachings, and we basically base our knowledge and skills where they need to get back to knowing all of these, and then to use them back into their life. But the topic of domestic violence and against women especially is not an easy task. And then so when we use these skills, these are like the teachings, it helps us to say, so a lot of times they'll walk through their process. So sometimes some men will take over the course of sometimes some men, after 2 weeks, they know exactly what they're doing, and then they plan on their path. And sometimes it takes a little longer than that. And then we always do an aftercare program after as well. And then we guide them to where they come from and where they belong. So if you'd like to continue. So I just thought this was a really nice reflection from what the work that I do. So may the stars carry your sadness away. May the flowers fill your heart with beauty. May hope forever wipe away your tears. And above all, may silence make you strong. Chief Dan George. So in a nutshell, thank you. Next slide, please. Anybody have any questions? I basically went through very quickly what I do. I touched a little bit about what Kijé is and what it does. Just to add a little bit about, so the program is super busy. I'm probably going to graduate 11 in December. I'm starting a new workshop in January, and there's already 19 signed up. And then I'm going to run 2 more in the next year. Then also I work in conjunction with other organizations in the community. Salvation Army has just approached me, and my former CAN workers before me, they ran a program through that center as well. So I'll be doing that. So is there any questions from you? Anything you'd like to know? I know I briefly went very fast through the presentation, but so this is the kind of work that I do. It's something that's not easy to do. I just finished a 3-hour workshop last night with the guys that were there. It's really rewarding at times, very challenging. But it's nice to see that there's a purpose. I'm trying to eliminate domestic violence against women and children totally, and then sometimes just recognizing that. So through what I've been doing is some of the processes where that these men and like what this young lady talked about is it's a learned behavior that they've learned from passed on from one ancestry to the next, even in my family. So what we do now is we have to unlearn that bad behavior and learn a new behavior. And so that's my goal. I do it one gentleman at a time, and thank you for listening. Yes. Oh. So I'm glad you said that. So thank you. So I usually my guys will be anywhere from 18 on. There is we never really turn anybody away, and then the equivalent to Kije, I am a kind man. There is Kije Kwe, I am a kind woman, and so. So no, we don't. There's probably going to be maybe if the I don't want to say if the demand's there, but if there's enough where we can start our own group with them, that would be awesome as well. There's a lot of youth programs at our center, so yes. But if domestic violence is something that started at a very young age, one of us would be more than happy to go in and talk and discuss about why there's violence in the family or why that young person is violent. Did that answer your question? Sure. Okay.
youth under the age of 18 when it comes to managing their emotions and just sort of about navigating unhealthy relationships. And so I reached out to St. Joe's to inquire about the services they have because they have quite a range of services for youth there.
Yes.
And unfortunately, they have to have already developed a substance, like an addiction to a substance to access services, from what I was told. So what I'm trying to identify is like where should we support them before they develop an addiction?
Yeah. There is some coworkers of mine who work in the office would probably answer your question much better than I can. So maybe I'll take your information after and I'll pass on that to you if you like.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Anybody else? Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is. So as I just said earlier, if it's unfortunate Melissa is not here today because Melissa is my co-worker where she does a female version of Kije Kwe. Our program is basically based with domestic violence and abuse, but with that, I'm going to say there's drugs, alcohol, so what we do is we'll teach them or we'll make sure that they're with the proper person once they've gone through my program or Melissa's program, and then so that they're like I said, there's over 40 programs that run through the TBIFC. So we try to catch all. But the main focus today with me in my program is domestic violence against women and children, and how we're coming about to do that. So again, I'd be more than happy to take your information, and I can link you with somebody that works at the center. Anybody else? So if there isn't anything else, I had a song in the beginning. If the song works, we'll play it, and if it doesn't, that's fine too. It was just to get us into. Anyways, thank you again, and feel free to ask me any questions. Um, and I wear the T-shirt proudly. Thank you. I forgot to mention that this is the guidebook that I use. This song works.
She remembers long ago, a time when the buffalo roamed, when the children weren't hurting and the women weren't crying. She remembers long ago, a time when the men would hunt in the snow. How did she get here, you ask yourself, standing on the corner with her hand held out. A million people pass her by, but they won't look her in the eye. She's another face that has no place, reminder of our failure as the human race. Weed out the weak and empower the strong, that is where we all go wrong. Now she cries a highway of tears. Can't take back all those years. Nowhere to turn, no place to call home. Everything is taken and gone. Now she spends her nights alone, cold and lost, chilled to the bone. She stands with her hand held out, and all that's left is fear and doubt. Accepts the hand that she's been dealt. She'll vanish away with no one's help. Now she cries a highway of tears. Can't take back all those years. She remembers long ago, a time when the buffalo roamed, when the children weren't hurting and the women weren't crying. She remembers long ago, a time when the men would hunt in the snow. Now she cries a highway of tears. Can't take back all those years.
This song is actually they are Canadian. She's from Sudbury, and I had the opportunity to see them in concert in Shelton. And I told them my work and what I did when I asked them to journey that the song flies to lots of some different songs.
Wow, it's a beautiful song. Thank you so much, Paul. Um, so we're gonna carry on to the next presentation. Her name is Maya, and she's coming from Beandigan, and she's gonna share some information with us as well.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maya Munayer. I just want to start by saying miigwech to our drummers and our elder and everyone that has spoken before me. And thank you very much for having me here today. So I'll start by introducing myself. So again, my name is Maya. At Beandigan, I work as a family counselor. I have done quite a few roles at Beandigan since my time there. I've worked in the field of human trafficking. I've worked as a resident counselor in our crisis home. I've done intake, and currently I've been doing family counseling for the last couple years. I also coordinate the Namagduin Committee. So Namagduin is the Indigenous Domestic Violence Coordinating Committee for Thunder Bay. We do a lot of education-based stuff and awareness things. So Namagduin specifically, we do things like every year we have a different focus. This year we had a youth conference where we brought youth from 4 different high schools, DFC, Superior High School, St. Ignatius, and St. Pat's, where we did a one-day youth conference kind of educating youth on what is a healthy relationship, what is unhealthy, what is consent, what is tech-facilitated violence, and what is youth exploitation. So, and also through my role with Namagduin, which pertains to the elimination of gender-based violence, is we had gender-based violence declared an epidemic here in Thunder Bay in September. So that was quite a success. So looking back at this year, we have had some success in terms of all of our mutual goal of the elimination of violence against women. So through Beandigan, we offer support and an emergency crisis home for women who are fleeing violence or abuse of any kind. So I'm going to kind of do an overview of everything that Beandigan provides. The reason for this is when you're leaving an abusive relationship or you're fleeing violence, there is so much support that you need to be successful in doing so. So Beandigan tries to offer a wraparound approach of these services to ensure that women are going to be successful when they do decide to leave. So Beandigan has been around since about 1978. Our first crisis home was just over here on May Street. We've since expanded quite largely. We now have a much bigger crisis home with about 24 beds currently, but we're currently in the process of renovating to add more beds to our crisis home because the need for crisis home beds is drastically growing in Thunder Bay. Just some stats to show you how much the need is increasing. I think in 2021, or 2020 to 2021, we turned away 256 women because our crisis home was full and at capacity. Last year, we turned away 556, and this year, so the fiscal years start April 1st, so this year from April 1st to now, I think we're already about 576, so we already surpassed what the year total was for last year, so we're on track to being around 800 to 1,000 by the end of the year, which is a very alarming stat. Especially given that we have Beandigan and then we have Faye Peterson, and both crisis home are not able to meet the need for the amount of women fleeing abuse. So, Beandigan specifically. So our mission is to provide safety, shelter, and support to Indigenous people and their families who are experiencing or at risk of experiencing violence, and to facilitate the cycle of healing through the delivery of culturally safe programs. So the key word there being at risk of abuse, because abuse doesn't actually have to happen to enter our crisis home. So if you're staying at your uncle's house and he's making you feel unsafe, or you're staying on the streets, and when you're staying on the streets, you're very at risk of violence, then you are also able to access our crisis home. The only problem being is our crisis home is at capacity almost every single day, but we won't turn people away. So if somebody is in crisis and they need to get out of their situation because it's unsafe, we'll bring them to the home and then keep them in the home until we're figuring out where else they're going. Right now we have some leeway. We do have some funding for some hotel beds until the end of March, but unfortunately that funding does end at the end of March. But we will work with other organizations like Urban Abbey, Faye Peterson, Victim Services to find out where else we can get them, whether it's a hotel bed for a few nights until we're able to figure something else out. There's other services, but our resident counselors are trained to figure out where they can go. So the stat for women that are turned away, even if we're helping them get somewhere else, we're still including the stat that they didn't enter our crisis home for the sake of proving to the ministry and our fight for more funding to meet the needs of these women. So what does Beandigan do? So we have the crisis home. It's a 24-bed facility. It's open every single day of the year. The crisis home is open to women and their dependents, and dependents isn't exclusive to children. So say a woman has their elderly father staying with them even, or a disabled child, a disabled adult child, and they're unable to leave the abuse because they're caretaking for that person, they're also able to access our services. So the crisis home can be accessed by all women aged 16 years or older. They just have to identify as women. It's also open to two-spirited. So that are either experienced, threatened by, or at risk of experience or affected by violence or abuse. It also doesn't have to be physical, so emotional and psychological abuse are also meet our mandate. Women and children are provided access to emergency services, regardless of their ability, race, sexual orientation, religious beliefs, or whether they identify as two-spirited, cisgender, or transgender. So that's another important thing, is it's open to all women. They don't have to identify as Indigenous to access our crisis home, but we are an Indigenous-led organization. Another thing that's important to remember is, so between the two crisis homes, Beandigan and Faye Peterson, our mandate is a little bit more open. Faye Peterson specifically works with women who are impacted by intimate partner violence, but we take women that are impacted by all abuse. So it doesn't matter if it's elder abuse, it doesn't matter if it's abuse from a family member, they still meet our mandate. So we started with the crisis home. The crisis home is the heart of our agency. We've expanded in recent years, especially. We also have a counseling unit. So we're just over here in Victoriaville. We have the Healing Our Own counseling unit. We also have children's programming and prenatal, postnatal next door to us. And then we have another office just on Syndicate here across from Jenkins Funeral Home that houses some of our other programming. So for counseling, the WHO team, so we call ourselves the WHO team for Healing Our Own, provides individual counseling for clients for a variety of issues. So each Beandigan counselor has a unique skill set. Counselors can help with issues such as trauma/abuse, grief, creating safety, anger management, self-esteem, anxiety, stress, and so on. We also offer walk-in counseling. So if you have somebody that's not a current client of ours, but they're needing to speak with somebody right away, you could give us a call over at the Healing Our Own unit, and we will find one of our counselors that's able to meet with them today. I did put rack cards for every single program at the front here. So when you're leaving today, if you're interested in any specific program I'm talking about or all of them, feel free to take. There's lots of pamphlets for everybody. So right beside the Healing Our Own unit is the Community Action Plan for Children, which is we call it CAPC. The CAPC program provides services to women with children 0 to 6. They've also opened it to men now, so dads with children can also access this, and it's more so support with parenting, learning healthy parenting. We have a new CAPC part-time worker that's working with cultural parenting, providing cultural teachings to parents. They do a lot of crafts. They do community kitchens, life skills for children, a lot of work on nutrition. Then we have the prenatal, postnatal program, and it provides women with advice on nutrition and health for the mother and baby, and then the postnatal worker will follow them up until the baby is 1 year of age. The prenatal postnatal worker can also do some advocacy work. So if they're dealing with child welfare, or they're having any struggles with that, or having struggles with getting all of the necessities they need for their baby, the prenatal postnatal worker will work with them on that. We also have Parenting Across the Life Cycle. So this is the new program that's funded through ONWA. So speaking of funding, so Being Again is funded in multiple ways. We have some funding coming from ONWA, we have some funding coming from MCCSS, we have some funding coming from Health Canada, but Parenting Across the Life Cycle is specifically an ONWA-funded program. And its main focus is providing parents with the skills needed to encourage a healthy bond between parent and child throughout the life cycle, from infancy to child to youth and beyond. So the connection between Indigenous parents and their children has been fractured by traumas caused by colonization, residential schools, the 60 scoops, and normalized violence. So this works to assist with that. So it seeks to support mothers and caregivers in a process of healthy reunification with their children, and then all sorts of different activities. They'll do like self-care days, they'll do beading groups, they'll bring in an elder, they'll do circles of security, which is about rebuilding attachment with children, and so on. We also have an alcohol and drug addiction program. So we have a worker who is trained specifically in addiction, and she works with those living with addiction. We do work from a harm reduction model. Topics explored in the program are usually the stigma, overdose and relapse prevention, safety planning, and then maintenance. So if somebody has went to treatment or needs assistance with getting to treatment, we will help with that, and then we'll also support them in maintaining their goals post-treatment. We also have the traditional housing, transitional housing support program. So this is a program that helps women get into housing. We all know that there's a really big housing crisis right now, so we do our best with that. But we have a couple THSP workers. One of them specifically is for the crisis home. So when a woman enters the crisis home, she is given about, technically we're funded for 8 weeks, but we will stretch it a little bit because we know about the housing crisis and there being nowhere to go. So we will get a housing worker working with that woman right away. Within 48 hours, they get a referral to one, and then the housing worker will come in and find out about their story and see what they could qualify for housing. So if a woman's been impacted by abuse, she does have the ability, and she's lived with her abuser, she does have the ability to apply for special priority status, which moves her up on the list for Thunder Bay Housing. So we'll get one of the housing workers to write a support letter detailing, kind of not in super detail, but giving some information about why they should be special priority status, and then hopefully get them into housing much sooner. There are some other options that we'll explore as well, like native housing, and we have some of our own housing actually, which I will speak about in a little bit. But they also help with obtaining IDs, birth certificates, status cards. If a woman is currently going through court and she wants someone to come with her as an advocate, they will also do that. They'll also go through the process with her and sit with her in the court hearings. So we also have Waukegan Housing. So Waukegan Housing means we have 27 housing units that we own throughout the city. Usually these units do go to women in the crisis home, like they are our priority. So when a unit comes available, we'll look at who's in the crisis home and who's kind of next on the list for getting one of the units. And so we have someone that manages that. With the housing crisis, though, they don't come up very often, because usually once people get into one of those units, they stay there because there's not too much other places for them to go. But every so often they do come up, and then they go to one of our women that are staying in the emergency shelter. We also have a transitional home. So back to our May Street crisis home, the original one, we have turned it into, because we've kept it through all these years, we've turned it into a transitional home. So that is a home that is open to single women. So if they ran up on their 8 weeks or whatever we've extended it to, there is another place for them to go in the transition period of getting into housing. So this place they can stay at rent-free. There's not a time limit on it. It's specifically funded through Thunder Bay Indigenous Friendship Center, actually, and they will stay there while they're waiting to get housing. And we'll have a worker there that'll do programming with them, help them update their resume, help them look at employment or education upgrading. And yeah, so that's kind of one of the gaps we're looking to fill. So Right now we have one transitional unit, but I'm sure in the future we'll be looking at having more spots available because, like I said, the need for housing and the need for getting to somewhere safe is just growing in the city. We also do family court support. So family court support is it's an advocate for women that are going through court. So they will also provide information about the family court process, help with preparations for court proceedings. They'll refer the client to other resources, so getting them connected with legal aid and a lawyer. Creating a safety plan, because we know going to family court for custody or divorce when we're dealing with somebody that's been abusive to us could be very unsafe. So they'll do a lot of safety planning with them and then accompany the client to all of their court proceedings and even lawyer appointments if they request. We also have the Breaking Free from Violence program. So this is a program that helps women navigate the child welfare system. This is an advocate for the woman. So it makes sure that their rights are being protected when they're going through the child welfare process. They're getting supervision how they're supposed to, or they're getting visits the way that they're supposed to be, and making sure that they're meeting their goals for reunification. So if the Child Welfare Agency has given them specific tasks to be completed, our Breaking Free from Violence worker will ensure that we get those things met. They'll also attend appointments with child welfare with them to ensure, again, that their rights are being respected and they're being treated fairly in this process. They also do crisis intervention and prevention. So, for example, if a child welfare agency is starting to get involved, they'll meet with the client to make sure that the concerns that are there could also be assisted with. Lastly, we have the anti-human trafficking program. So the anti-human trafficking program is a program that provides services for women. Actually, Cindy, our anti-human trafficking worker, can work with all genders. I'm not sure why it says women, but any gender and youth she can work with. So this is a program that works with people experiencing human trafficking or are at risk of experiencing human trafficking. She also does in-depth safety planning. So she provides individual support, and as well as education and information and referrals to external services and resources, as well as personal care items and go bags, because a lot of times when women leave human trafficking, they have nothing. So she's also available to go and do education to agencies. So when I used to do that position with her, we would go to many different agencies, kind of educating on what human trafficking can look like and what you should do if you're noticing signs. So that's something that Bindigan offers as well. Basically, all of our staff are very open to going into the community and talking about what they do because we can't do it alone. So partnering with the other agencies is the way to do it. So we also have the Talk for Healing helpline, which is its own thing. So Talk for Healing is a 24/7 help and support line it used to be just for women. Again, we've opened it to everybody. It is available 365 days a year, 24/7. I did leave a bunch of Talk for Healing cards. They are a good thing to take. It's available in 14 different languages. So it's available to our folks up in Northern Reserves. They can call and access listening support through that way. It was started with Indigenous women for Indigenous women, but like I said, in the recent years, we have had some more funding come through, we have been able to get some more workers, and we have been promoting it to everybody. So you can call, text, and do a live chat. So if you go to our Bindigan website, just bindigan.com, you could do a live chat there. You can do it anonymously. You can text the number, and you can call it. We do a lot of group programming as well. So one of the big ones is Child Witness, and that one will be coming up in March. We're just in the process of planning it. So Child Witness is something that we offer about twice a year, and it's a group for mothers or caregivers and their children, ages 4 to 18, who've experienced violence. So this group provides a safe place to heal and rebuild as a family through education, structured play, and cultural teachings. So this is especially important for our younger kids that have experienced violence or witnessed violence and are not sure what to make of it. So some of the topics they cover are healthy boundaries, safety planning on a youth level, and kind of understanding what took place and what is healthy versus unhealthy. Another thing we do is we used to have Women Living Free from Violence, which was a domestic violence support group. I will be starting a new one in January. We probably won't be calling it Women Living Free from Violence, but it will be covering some of the same topics. So that is covering the education pieces of understanding what happens when we're in an abusive relationship. So educating people on the patterns of abuse, the cycle of violence, the shame and guilt that comes after leaving an abusive relationship, the grief and loss, because even though the relationship wasn't a good one, there's still the loss of a dream, there's still a loss of a family member and a partner, so it addresses those things, as well as how to create healthy boundaries, some assertiveness skills, how to do self-care, and those education pieces that are going to prevent future violence. We also currently have a Sisters of Grief group. So Sisters of Grief is every Tuesdays from 1:30 to 3:30, just over here in our Victoriaville unit. This is an open and continuously run group. It helps clients process grief in a group setting and receive peer support from other group attendees. It's usually done in the form of a sharing circle, and they cover all types of grief. So it's not specific to the loss of a person. It could also be like the loss of a dream, the loss of culture, the loss of a relationship. So they will cover about all of those things. They also discuss the historical trauma from residential schools. They'll go over medicine wheel teachings. They'll bring in elders for these sharing circles. And they also work on seeking your own spiritual connection if a client is wanting that. Anger management is something we also offer. It is court approved, so if there's anybody that has a client that would need anger management, feel free to send them our way. We will be starting a new group in the new year. We do offer it on an individual basis, so if somebody is wanting to start right away, they can be connected with a counselor that is trained in that and start getting the information pretty instantly. Another great thing about Healing Our Own is we don't really have a wait list. So I know most of the other counseling agencies in Thunder Bay do, but we usually get a client seen within a week. And like I said, in some cases, we can do it the same day if they're really needing the support. And there's always Talk for Healing for after hours, and the crisis line is always open 24/7 for the crisis home. Another important thing to note about that is even if a client doesn't need to access the crisis home, but they need help with general safety planning, they can also call the crisis home. Like the other day, I had a client call the crisis home to ask about how to keep her house more secure. So the crisis home walked her through certain safety planning measures for keeping her home safe. We also have like a sewing circle, which is just a fun group, and that's Wednesdays from 3 to 6. They'll make all sorts of things like ribbon skirts or curtains for a client's new home. Basically, whatever the client is wanting to work on, the lady that runs Sewing Circle will just meet them where they're at and get them the materials needed. And it's a drop-in program every Wednesday from 3 to 6. We also do drumming. Drumming is Thursdays from 4 to 6 p.m. And it's also over here just at Victoriaville. And it's an ongoing group as well, and it gives women a chance to connect with culture through singing and drumming. If they don't have a drum, that's more than fine. We have some drums they can use, and we do a drum making workshop about once a month so that they're able to make their own drum if needed, as it can be part of their healing journey. So that's the overview of everything that Being Again does. A lot of people don't know the full extent of what we do. They think that we're just a crisis home and that's it, but we are much bigger than that. And like I said, we try to use a wraparound approach so that clients are having all of their needs met. And if there's something that we can't meet at Being Again, we'll also do the social navigation piece of getting them the services that they do need. In terms of helping somebody who you know that is impacted by violence, if they've been impacted by violence and it's they're not in a current crisis, well, they could be in current crisis, but if they're like just looking for the counseling support, they could go directly to the Healing Our Own counseling unit and access counseling that way. There's no charge to any of our services. If they're in current crisis and needing a safe place to go, your first step would be calling the crisis home. Some basic safety planning stuff. So I did bring one of my safety plans just to kind of go over briefly with it, but usually what we do with clients is we'll do some basic safety planning with them once they're in the home, and if they haven't left the abusive relationship yet, but they're working with us, we'll do some safety planning about what's your exit going to look like, how could we do this safely. So if you have a client that is needing to have that services, or they're thinking about leaving but they don't know how to approach it in a safe way, connecting them with us so that safety is considered, because we know that the most dangerous time for a woman is when they leave. So some of the things we'll do is we'll figure out what their the person that's causing them harm's routine is. We'll create a safety plan for them. We'll get either neighbors or family members connected in the safety plan. We have certain protocols in place, so if they're late for work or something that they usually attend, that there is somebody that will check in with them. We do some things with them where we go over with them about being aware of their surroundings. If they're out in the community and they don't have a cell phone, we'll work towards getting them a cell phone. If they don't have a cell phone or they've lost their cell phone, we'll do a safety plan of when they're going out in the community, where are the nearest phones. So mapping them out where the closest stores are. We'll talk to them about when they're waiting for buses, if they're taking the bus, waiting for the bus in a well-lit area. Where is it safe to take the bus and get off the bus? And we'll do some safety planning in the home. So if they've left the crisis home, they've secured their unit, we'll also send a housing worker to go into their new apartment to teach them how to lock windows. And if their windows don't have good locks, then we'll get them the locks they need, and then create a safety plan based on their new surroundings. I'm not going to go through the whole safety plan, but that is something that all of us do. Every single worker, the crisis home, every single counselor has a safety plan that they're able to do and tailor to each person's unique experience based off of what they're going through. If they're escaping human trafficking, that is a much more dangerous situation, as you're not just fleeing one person, you're fleeing multiple people. So we will tailor the safety plan specific to their needs. If anyone has questions about anything like this, you can email me. I could ask Jamie Lee to send my email around, but it's just Maya, M-A-Y-A, @beantogain.com. And you're able to email me with any questions about any of this. I am really familiar with the entire agency, so I could direct you in the right place that you need to go. Being the coordinator of Namogdoin, I do have a committee member that sits from all of the agencies in Thunder Bay that do provide services to people that are impacted by abuse. So if they're needing something outside of Bean Again, I'll also have a contact of where else they can go for other agencies. And that is pretty much it. Does anyone have any questions for me? Yeah. Yes, we do have an EMDR trained therapist in our unit. Just one. We used to have two, but one of them is on a sick leave right now, and we're working at getting some of the other ones trained. I'm specifically training in internal family systems theory, which is it's a deeper level of therapy as well, but it's parts work, so it's not EMDR, but it's doing the subconscious work at the same level. And there's no limit to how long you access our services, so it's not like you come in and we give you 12 sessions. We know that trauma doesn't go away in 12 sessions, so if a woman is needing to stay with us for a year in counseling, that's more than fine. There's no time restrictions on our services. That's it. Okay, thank you very much for having me. All of my programs that I've mentioned are just on the table here, and feel free to take as many pamphlets as you'd like. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Maya. That was great. So our next guest is Sarah Kay. She's gonna actually do a song for us and speak a little bit, but we're gonna give her a few minutes to set up. So if you want to stretch your legs, grab a snack, feel free. No one's put their name in for the draw. I don't mind going home with the gift card if you don't want it. So, thank you. So we'll just take a few minutes.
There's been. Oh, sorry, I didn't know it was on. It's embarrassing. Okay. Yeah? Good to go? Oh, it's up to you. Ooh, so awkward. Snack time's over.
Hello? Sorry. Okay, everybody, we're gonna have Sarah Kay do a song for us. If everybody wants to just
Thank you. I didn't
Thank
want to
you.
be the one to say it. It would have been awkward. Thank you for having me. Feel free to eat your snacks. I wanted to grab some before I came up here, but I'll do that after. Snack later. My name is Sarah Kay. Ani Nanglaping Nadijnakas. That's my spirit name. It's Dancing Star in the Water, and it was gifted to me by Iggy Quandabens, who currently lives in Armstrong, and I believe he has his whole life. So I like to recognize him and the name he gifted me with. So special to me and has brought in real power, especially in the last couple years as I reconnect. I'm from Thunder Bay, but my family hails from Robinson, Superior, and Treaty 3, so Lake Helen and Dulles on my mom's side, and then Lake Helen for my dad. And I can't really speak specifically to violence against women. I've had a really fortunate home life and haven't seen that firsthand, but I know a lot of my family and friends have gone through really, really traumatic experiences, and I want to talk about more so the resilience of Indigenous women. So my whole entire family runs on the strength of those women. So people like my mom, people like my aunties. And growing up, I didn't realize that power that they held. And for me, I didn't realize that sometimes women come second to men, because all I saw was these inspiring women taking charge of their homes and their workplaces. And I was always captivated by Auntie Colleen bossing everybody around and doing what she does best. And I really appreciated her and my Auntie Sandy. And also on my dad's side, they all work in the band office and bring so much wealth to our family. So for me, it was just strong women everywhere I looked, strong Indigenous women, and I'm appreciative for that. And growing up, I was always called bossy, and I was embarrassed about that, but I've realized that that usually goes hand in hand with strong leadership and strong women to guide our community. And I think we need to change that language when we talk about our women and ourselves. As we aren't bossy, we're leaders. We have to be strong. So like as I'm sitting here right now, I try to change that for myself and not use that terminology, because I'm not bossy. I'm a leader now, and I make sure to do that for my younger sisters. So youngest one's 9 years old, and I'm like, yeah, she's telling me what to do, and that's good for her. Good for her. She's strong. And I wrote a song, which I'm going to sing for you all, which is called Rise, and it's about them. It's about my 4 foster sisters. They're my god sisters now, but my family has taken in children since I was a little girl, since I was a baby, and I've had teenagers look after me. So people like Deanne and Amanda, Ronalda, and so for them, I got to see the older women, and then I got to see the young girls right now. So this song is for all of them. The song was for me in my healing stage. So it's called Rise, and it's been out for 2 years now. But we're gonna do it on my own. I don't typically play for myself, so this could crash and burn and be super embarrassing, but bear with me. Can you hear the guitar? You wanna feel the tears I'm crying, but you don't wanna feel the pain. You tell me, little girl, don't you worry, change is coming, but it stays the same. I wanna feel the sunshine, the same that it does on the other other side. I wanna see my sisters flying to places that they never knew. I wanna see them rise, wanna see them rise. Promise you we will rise, rise. You tell us to forgive and forget, but you don't understand our past. We are torn from the inside, our trauma we never used to have. I wanna feel the sunshine, the same that it does on the other side. I wanna see my sisters flying to places that they never knew. I wanna see them rise, wanna see them rise. Promise you we will rise, rise. I wanna see them rise, wanna see them rise. Promise you we will rise, rise. Thank you. I want to thank Nan for inviting me out, and Loretta specifically sent me the email last week. And honestly, Nan has been so supportive of me and my singing career from when I was 12. So I'm 24 now. That's a good, is that 10 years? I'm a musician for a reason. I'm not a math girl. But I'm like 12 plus 12. 24, right? Yes. So 12 years. I want to thank Nan for always supporting me and seeing people like Anna Betty for the majority of my life being in leadership roles is really great. And so we just need more of it and changing that terminology. We're not bossy, we're leaders. And so I'm really proud of all the Indigenous women in my life who continue to inspire me. And that's why I do what I do. So thank you. Good. Okay.
Okay, what time do we have? We're good. So I just want to thank you. Thank you so much for this beautiful song. I really, really, really loved it. Thank you so much. So that kind of concludes our event for today. I do want to close off in a good way, though. So if we can ask our beautiful Elder Terry to come up and do a closing prayer, and then we're also going to do a closing drum song as well. No? It says on here, closing song. But while I wait for them to come up, I just want to thank everybody here who has come to our awareness social today. It really means a lot to our department that our seats are filled. So Miigwech for showing up today. I also want to talk briefly, just quickly, one more thing about our Fill a Purse campaign. I left posters at the front as well. It's open to anyone. In the Thunder Bay community area, Timmins, we're asking people if they can fill a purse with items like feminine hygiene products, shampoo, hats, mitts, whatever that you can afford. Just put it in a purse. If you don't have a purse, a bag, and donate it to here on December 1st or earlier. But for the Timmins area, we only were able to have the scheduled drop off for December 1st if you're in Timmins. So yeah, we are hoping that we get many purses that we can drop off to our local shelters. So if you can just keep that in the back of your mind and think about that and contribute, that'll be awesome. So I'll leave it to Terry now.
This is just the right height for me. My grandkids always tell me as I age, you're shrinking. Because they'll come up to me and say, "You're shrinking, Grandma." But I just want to thank everybody for being part of this special event. And my teachings from my late husband has always been, and I expressed this teaching to the 9 events that we have, the chiefs assemblies that we always open with a drum song, and to welcome the spirits into the assembly or any gathering. Then the prayer. Then at the end, it's always the prayer first, and then the song, the drum song to send the spirits back and to take away the pain that we carry, the stories that we carry. Each of us have a story in our lives that we carry. Sometimes it stays with us, it festers, and sometimes it makes us unhealthy. And so when I call in the spirits, and when they go, I ask in prayer that they take away those unhealthy things that we are carrying, and to leave us healthy again. So those are what I ask. So I'll close this off in a good way, and we'll ask Creator and Manitou to be with us again. Miigwech Manitou. Shoniaka migo dego atik do dem kinak de jon vejago miteo. Kinanakamen minano gomgagis tuang oa. Goyat sokanag wate wabanong shawanong nagabionong kiwet nong kagi anda magwa chibi shawat kewi not hepaksen magwa gegon kanon da moats owege gamos towards aweg obamadzon no chawanda man chimajuto egwa chanda bagitin na mega andege bek kamegag me weja ga gwet minan man to ganoin misnam no ngam ka kanigis toang mina oega mseg mit se ga gwet minan man to kinanak komego shawen misnam kanoin misnam migwet.
Okay, we're gonna sing the traveling song. Way, way, ah, way, ah, way, oh. 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 Way, ah, hey, ah, hey, 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 oh. Mina waga wabamen. Mina
Thank you, everybody, for coming. I wish everyone safe travels home. Miigwech.